Welcome aboard the Arun Valley Line, where the journey is as beautiful as the destination.
I'm Annalise and this is Luna. Come with us as we embark on this adventure together.
We'll journey from the bustling energy of Gatwick through to the serene beauty of the South Downs countryside.
Get ready to meet some locals and gather inspiration for your own train travel adventures.
Come on, let's get started.
In our podcast series, you'll hear more from our guests, but for now, let's introduce some of the people we'll meet. Our adventure begins at Gatwick Airport.
Gatwick is one of the busiest stations on the Arun Valley Line. The train is a brilliant option with platforms conveniently located right within the airport.
A new concourse opened in 2023, designed to help travellers navigate the space quickly and effortlessly.
Let's meet Jamal, who'll share what it takes to keep this bustling station running smoothly.
I've been the team leader for almost 20 years plus. I really love my job, dealing with passengers, dealing with the challenges of today's railways, managing the expectation of our passengers. I think railways have evolved over time. They are more inviting, we run more services now. Passengers, the need for railways is growing and growing. I think it's a major part of our industry as well as the framework of our society. A lot of people rail on the trains, and with that expectation, we want to run a reliable service, and it's important for us as a team how we operate, how we come together to ensure that every part of the railway is working, and our passengers have a safe and a pleasant journey. And there are also been innovations like you can buy your e-tickets online, you can have your smart card, you have contactless. There's so many opportunities now to use the railway service. I don't think that we should be going back on the road, and also that environmental conscious people, they're coming back to the train services and sitting in queues on the traffic. We can go from here into London within half an hour, and that's the amazing thing about railways.
Above platforms 5 and 6, explore Gatwick's rich history in an exhibition created by local historians and the South East Communities Rail Partnership.
And it's here we meet Tom.
We work very closely with the likes of the Arun Valley Group to part fund really good incentives, such as the historic timeline that we've got here at Gatwick. So we're really keen to make sure that we reach out to the local communities and community groups to see that we're not just an airport that looks after what happens within the airport. We're very keen on seeing what the wider community impact is and how we can support them. This is a perfect example of it. So part of the benefit of the new station concourse is that they're able to install a whole plethora of new lifts as well, which massively helped with the accessibility to the station. The route before the new concourse was built, for those who need to use a lift, was very convoluted. It was long, complicated, required that people had to be pointed in certain directions quite a few times along their journey. Now it's really simple. We've got direct lift access to all of the platforms, partly from this concourse here, but mainly from the main concourse, the new concourse that was partly funded by Gatwick Airport.
We leave the bustling concourse of Gatwick and head out along the train line.
Just 17 minutes down the Arun Valley Line is Faygate Station. Nestled in the countryside, it sees several million fewer passengers a year than Gatwick Airport.
Although trains from these quieter stations are less frequent than those from larger ones, they provide a vital service.
Plus, they're perfect spots for walkers.
There are plenty of footpaths to explore, and you can enjoy a drink and a bite to eat at 2 nearby pubs.
They're both just a short walk from the station, so if your legs need a rest, you can easily hop on a train once you've refuelled.
A country pub embodies the essence of rural life, but before venturing out, check their opening times.
Further down the footpath, you'll find another eatery, The Cabin, popular with TV location scouts.
Emma, tell us more.
We had hairy bikers come down for the day. Unfortunately, they didn't actually turn up, but their film crew. So that keeps repeating on the telly, which we keep having people come in saying, "Oh, we've seen you on the telly again." It's quite a few years ago, so I'm looking a lot younger then than I am now. And also Killing Eve, which was a really good one. We had to shut down for 3 days It was only like a 5-minute snippet on the telly, but 3 days worth of work that went into it, which was good fun. The amount of people behind the filming is quite surprising. There was sort of nearly 200 people here just for that little snippet. So that was good fun, claim to fame. It was just like we were descended on, obviously. Faygate being a little village, I've never seen so many people.
Well, let's keep our eyes peeled for TV stars at our next train station.
It's Littlehaven, 4 minutes down the track from Faygate and another one of the smaller stations. But it's well used, and if you fancy a walk, there's a great route between Faygate and Littlehaven.
I think you just want another excuse to stop off at a country pub, Annalise.
No comment.
You can hear more about our walk and the local history on the Faygate and Littlehaven podcast episode.
As with many of the stations, they have self-service ticket machines and bike racks, supporting sustainability by encouraging passengers to cycle rather than drive to their nearest station.
Our next stop is Horsham, a bustling market town for us to explore.
Horsham train station is just a 7-minute walk to the shops.
Let's go to platform 3 to chat with the train station team.
I'd love to learn more about working on the train and how to start.
If you're looking for a new career, Annalise, you'd better be on your best behaviour.
I joined just out of uni. I graduated in July. I went up and did uni in Manchester. Chose the job, being interested in transport was related to my degree, and I think it's a starting point for a degree in transport and going more towards sustainability, particularly with the railways as well. And yeah, it's been great so far. Lovely people work here, lovely people across the company, and my main role at the moment is dispatching trains safely and making sure that passengers get their help. You can get on the train with your bike, obviously when it's not too busy, but a folding bike you're allowed at any time, and it can take you down to Christ Hospital, and the Downs link is literally right outside the station, so on both sides because it loops around it. So it's easy to get off there and then just go on a cycle and have a good day out with your family or friends. So yeah, I recommend it.
Thanks, Matt. It's fantastic to see so many of the railway team chatting about sustainable travel. It's definitely a hot topic these days and a welcomed one.
And while you're still pondering which role you'd like to take on the railway, Annalise, let's hear from Dan. He might spark some inspiration.
My name's Dan. I'm the station supervisor here. My job involves helping people and managing between our control and managing the other staff on the station. I think train travel is a really good way of getting around. I use it all the time myself and generally don't have any problems, and it's a good way of seeing the country. There's loads of really nice places around here, going down to Arundel and seeing the Arundel Castle down there, or just going around in Horsham alone. On the weekends they have a really good market in town, and there's some very old buildings around. The museum's quite a nice place to go.
Thanks, Dan. We're taking your cue and heading into the vibrant heart of Horsham town.
As we step out of Horsham railway station, check out how well it's set up for onward travel. Those bus stops are just a hop away.
And let's not forget the fantastic cycle storage available. It's clear this spot is a hit with the cyclists of Horsham.
Plus, you can easily pick up or drop off parcels right here. How convenient is that?
I don't have any packages today, so let's stroll into the town centre.
Our route takes us through the beautiful Horsham Park, bursting with sights and activities.
Did you know you can even tie the knot at the stunning Park House? It's the perfect backdrop for your wedding day.
And on any other day, it's a lovely place for a leisurely walk. If you're in the mood for a swim or a workout, the leisure centre is just the ticket.
But remember, no swimming in the pond. That's just for our feathered friends.
It's great to meet the local wildlife, but Gary is waiting to share all the delicious food and drink options available in the Horsham district.
The wonderful thing about Horsham, right from the railway station, from one end of the town to the other, it's completely accessible. It's really flat, and so much of the town is pedestrianised, so you haven't got to worry about crossing busy roads. Once you come out the station, you cross the first road, walk down past the park, and you can get into the town. And why wouldn't you want to come to East Street with such a wonderful choice of restaurants? You can literally eat around the world in East Street.
We're here on Market Day, and it's great to meet the independent traders who are showcasing their fantastic locally produced products.
In Horsham, we have 2 weekly markets, one focusing on local produce and local crafts, and another one a more general market, but actually for anything online that people want to come and trade on the high street. We also have a wonderful vegan market once a month, so for anybody that's a non-meat eater, you know, it's a great place to come. That's Imperious Place, which is also next to the Everyman Cinema. So, you know, all part of the entertainment district of the town, near Eat Street, where all the restaurants are. But yeah, that's a great reason to visit Horsham. And as I say, we do those on a weekly basis because the demand is there. Elsewhere in the district, Billingshurst, which is obviously one of the key stations on the Arun Valley Line, we have a monthly market in the car park near the library, which offers a fantastic range of local produce, local crafts. One of the great opportunities that we have locally to actually find out what people are making and selling locally, because so many people now, and particularly since COVID, sell their goods online. And what we do, I work for the district council, and we actively support all the markets. We don't operate them, through their operators, and we want to support the markets because we think it's a great way of bringing local business out onto High Street, because there's hundreds of cottage industry businesses working behind their front doors, which you'd never know about. So we want to celebrate all our local entrepreneurs, and what greater place on markets in our wonderful market towns.
You can find out more about the markets in Horsham District by searching markets on horsham.gov.uk.
Gary has more to tell us about why catching the train is a great way to connect with local produce suppliers.
South of Horsham District, you may be surprised to see row upon row of vines growing. And it's actually true that Horsham District is effectively the gateway to English wine. One of the great reasons by travelling by train to Horsham District is that you can explore these vineyards without having to worry about driving. What a great benefit.
Thanks, Gary.
There's also a packed calendar of events happening in Horsham and across the district, so you'll never get bored.
Check out the local What's On listings and explore visithorsham.co.uk for events and local opportunities. Any final thoughts before we leave you, Gary?
So enjoy your visit, allow a little bit extra time because you're bound to get distracted.
Thanks, Gary, and talking of time, we'd better head over to Horsham Museum to meet Nikki.
I think one of the really good things about Horsham Museum is it's free. So even if you're just popping in for 2 or 3 minutes, just a quick trip, then you haven't wasted anything. We tell the local history of Horsham, and Horsham, a lot of its history aligns with kind of the general national history and how our society developed. So we try and focus each gallery on what was happening in the country generally and what was happening here. So it's a really great resource for finding out about Horsham itself, but also wider issues. So we have galleries from prehistory. We have our own dinosaur, the Horshamasaurus, which is, depending on who you ask, quite official that is our dinosaur. So from the Horshamasaurus all the way up to our contemporary gallery, which talks about things like the Gruffalo. Julia Donaldson is part of the district, and also Creative Assembly, a gaming company. So, and all of the history that took place in between in Horsham. We are part of a network with all the museums across the district. So there are quite a few. There's Storrington, Stenning, Henfield, and Christ Hospital has its own museum as well. And of course, Amberley Museum. So all of us kind of get together and share ideas. But it's a really great resource because a lot of things have similar themes, but there's also very unique things for each place. So they're all great places to visit and experience when you're in Horsham District. Horsham Museum has existed in some capacity since 1893. Initially it didn't have a permanent home, so it was kind of collections of things. We don't have many things from the beginning, but there's some pictures of things that people suggested we might donate. One is a potato shaped like a foot, which I haven't seen it, so I believe it's not here anymore, but we have a great picture. It moved to this location in the Second World War and has been here ever since. So this is what was a domestic house from the 1400s in the earlier part, but the museum remained open through the Second World War and has been here consistently since. So the museum is open Tuesday, Saturday, 10 to 4 p.m. We also always have a children's trail that can be done free of charge, and in the school holidays we do additional crafts that people can come along to, and they're always related to some kind of historic theme. We also have an art gallery that showcases local artists, and it changes every few months, so it's a great way to see really talented local creatives. And we also change the galleries regularly because we've been collecting for over 100 years. We have lots of things in store, so we want to keep changing and telling new stories. So roughly 2 or 3 times a year, a gallery that you are very familiar with will suddenly be completely new.
What a great insight into Horsham Museum, and good to know there are many other museums to visit in the district.
We're hopping back on the train to Christ Hospital, just 4 minutes away, and there's something special here?
Yes! Christ Hospital School, founded in 1552, is known for its unique uniform and stunning architecture.
And it has a fantastic museum, open for pre-booked tours throughout the year. Museum curator Laura can tell us more about this amazing place.
Manage not just the school museum, which is on the top floor of the old infirmary building that was built in 1902. That's now the ground floor is the medical centre, but the whole of the top floor is a large area where we house most of our collection of over 100,000 artefacts dating back to 1552 when the school was founded in London. So the school was 350 years in the City of London and just over 122 in Sussex. So in looking after a collection of 100,000 artefacts, which vary from paintings, sculpture, furniture, clocks, ephemeral documents, photographs, all sorts of artefacts, medical collections, science, spanning all to do with Christ Hospital school history. Many of the artefacts are around the site, some are in the London archives, some of our original documents and charters signed by Edward VI, originally founding the hospital as a charity school for poor men's children. Hospital in Tudor times meant hospitality, so it was care, feeding, housing, clothing and a little learning for poor men's children and orphans, and Christ's because it was in the parish of Christchurch on the old site of the Greyfriars Monastery just behind St Paul's Cathedral. So although we're now in the heart of Sussex, we're very much still carry that long history of the City of London and the charitable mission of the school. We look after the heritage site as it is, as well as being a living school. There are paintings in dining hall, in chapel, there's furniture and artefacts all around. So it's really quite a huge remit to look after. We have about 2,000 visitors a year, which is significant for a school museum where you can't just walk in off the street, unfortunately, but we are open to the public, and we're open throughout the year regardless of term time, but by appointment only, and we're very easy to find on the school website, and you can see that we're officially open Tuesdays and Thursdays 10 till 4, and it's free to come and visit. But if you get in touch with us and you want to do some research or you want to come in and have a look round, we are staffed Monday and Wednesday as well, and we also offer Vario tours, which are a means by which the public and public groups can come and see the whole site and learn about the amazing history of Christ Hospital. Now they happen on a Monday afternoon in term time and do need pre-booking. They're called Vario because in the 1960s this huge painting we have in dining hall really did need some refurbishment and conservation, and it had been around since the 1690s. It had moved from London to Horsham, and the funding that the school received, there was a condition to that they had to open up the site and make it more public for people so that they could see this sort of amazing gem in the countryside that is Christ Hospital. And Vario tours came into being, named after Antonio Vario, who was the artist who painted it to commemorate the founding of the Royal Mathematical School navigation at Christ Hospital. And students were trained from then on until today, where it's just ongoing, and they learn the history of the school, trained by us as curators, and they lead groups, so that can be anything from U3As to art societies to Rotary groups, and individuals, to have a wonderful afternoon's tour of the site, learning all about the history, going into dining hall, chapel, theatre, learning about our school history, and then coming into dining hall for a beautiful high tea, which we serve, and then to the museum. We very, very much welcome people either for that or to just come in and visit.
Wow, thanks Laura. We'll definitely be booking a tour soon. Before we go on our way, let's meet Oliver, one of the students to talk trains.
I run the Christ Hospital Model Railway Club. We run this layout, and we also have a bigger layout in the most popular scale, which is 2 times this size. And we exhibit about 4 times a year. We take the horde over to one of the main halls at school for the Christmas fair every year. And we also run some smaller demonstrations here in the museum. This is our model of Christ Hospital Station as it was in its heyday in the 1960s, just before the beaching cuts which closed the lines to Guildford and Brighton. All that remains now in real life is the line between London Victoria and the south coast, Bognor Regis, Littlehampton, etc. We've had to use a bit of artistic license on the model. Obviously it wouldn't bend back as you can see here, that's just so we can get the trains around. But the platform layout is exactly how it was. It was built primarily by me and my father. My father did a lot of the work on the board and track laying. So before the cuts, Christ Hospital was a very major junction station. There was Itchingfield Junction and Stamerham Junction, those were the two. One of them was the junction for the line to Guildford, which diverged on these platforms at the back here, and the other one was a bit further that way, and that was where the Brighton line diverged via Stenning. There are various theories as to how such a big station was built for seemingly such a little population. One of them suggests that the railway company thought that Christ Hospital was a day school and that there would be hundreds of pupils coming through on a daily basis. Another one was that it was in expectation of a housing development nearby, which never really happened.
Thanks, Oliver. We're going to head along the Downs link where the old tracks you mentioned used to be. A beautiful 37-mile trail from Guildford to Shoreham, perfect for walking, cycling and horse riding.
Although don't try bringing your horse on the train.
Good point, Annalise. I've made a note.
We're following a 5-mile circular route, so we'll come off the Downs link as we head out towards St Nicholas's Church in Itchingfield. The church dates back to around 1125, features 2 original walls from the 12th century, an ombry, a small cupboard, and historic windows.
The altar includes Norman stone and the church boasts 15th century windows and a tower.
Within the churchyard lies a 16th century priest's house, which served as a clerk's cottage and almshouse before becoming disused in the 1860s.
Make sure you stick to the right path as there are plenty of walking routes here.
Including the West Sussex Literary Trail, which goes from Chichester all the way through to Horsham Town Centre. Check out the website and you can buy the book of the same name or borrow it from the library.
It's no surprise as many writers are linked to this area. Let's return to Nikki for more details.
So Horsham Town's big celebrity is Percy Bysshe Shelley, who was a famous poet from the late 18th, early 19th century. He's very closely linked to Byron and Keats. They were contemporaries and they all died tragically young in very close succession to each other. Shelley was born in Warnham, which is a village which is a relatively short walk from Horsham Town. And his grandfather lived in the town as well, so Horsham is a place that he would have known very well. As a poet, he believed in talking about ideas that would change society. His father was a member of parliament and had a very corrupt election in 1790, and Shelley was greatly for political reform. And the two did not get along. So they're a great case study of 2 people, a father and son, who had completely contrary ideas. But yes, so lots of Shelley, especially the Causeway where we're on today, Shelley would have known that, very similar to how it looks if you're walking down the Causeway now. So Horsham District, as well as Shelley, has many literary residents from the past. So there is Hilaire Belloc, who wrote a huge variety of books. Some of them have aged better than others, but he wrote some children's books which are very, very popular. We have Julia Donaldson, Cicely Mary Barker of the Flower Fairies. We also have a man, Victor Newberg, who was linked to Aleister Crowley, the occultist, but after the First World War and them having a falling out, he moved to the district and wrote about the folklore and the landscape in Sussex as well. So many different people, many different genres of literature that have been explored here.
And there are plenty of other walking routes you can access for free, aren't there, Nikki?
So we also have heritage walks, which can be downloaded from our website. So if I'm going for a walk, I really love if I can take something with me that will tell me little tidbits of information about what I'm looking at. So there's lots of them about different aspects of history, about social history, that you can download for free and then take them with you and find out all these other things that you wouldn't pick up just walking by.
Thanks, Nikki. You can also visit the museum's research room to uncover fascinating historical facts about the villages and market towns, as well as the scenic walks that connect them.
Our next stop on the Arun Valley Line is Billingshurst, a village with a rich history. It's known for its stunning countryside and charming architecture, along with a vibrant community.
Just as Gary mentioned, Billingshurst has a lively market and hosts various events throughout the year, from fairs to festivals. Don't miss the historic St Mary's Church, dating back to the 12th century, surrounded by scenic walking trails.
We're meeting Rowena off the train from the South East Communities Rail Partnership.
The partnership takes on the responsibility of connecting the community with the railway and supporting and encouraging people to travel by train.
Tell us more, Rowena.
We try and encourage people to use the rail wherever possible, or any form of sustainable transport, so buses, cycling, walking, just to try and reduce car traffic. Then the other side is encouraging people, if they would like to enhance their local station. We have station partnerships. The Arun Valley Line is from Gatwick through to Bosham and Bognor, and in between all those stations we have station partners who adopt their local station. They can be schools, parish councils, town councils, local businesses or organisations, or maybe just an individual. Someone turns up with a litter picker and says, I'd like to make a difference here. Before you know it, they've brought a couple of other friends along, and then we end up with some beautiful planters or some artwork. And here at Billingshurst Station, the station partner is the Billingshurst Community Partnership, a group of volunteers who do all sorts of things in the village. A couple of years ago, they got some funding, partly from the railway, but from other places too. And in the waiting room, they've installed a map, a sort of hand-drawn map, very friendly, to show people who are getting off the train where they can go, how they can get through to Billingshurst Village, the best walking routes. And that ties in with some finger posts which were funded, I believe, by Horsham District Council, also showing you the best route into Billingshurst Village. Another good station partnership is actually at Horsham Station. If you're ever at Horsham, go up to what used to be called the Bridge Art Gallery. It's the corridor by the lifts, actually, but it's been handed over to the QE2 Special Needs School, which is based in Horsham. And as part of the Platinum Jubilee commemorations, we renamed it the QE2 Art Gallery. They absolutely love it. They're all pupils aged up to 19 who just need a bit of work experience, and they love enhancing that gallery with artwork, with cleaning it, with maintaining it, working alongside the cleaners there and the maintenance team. They really, really want to get more work experience, and this is something that we are trying to engage with Southern Rail about. And at local level, the local maintenance and the local station managers are really on board with that. We also employed a community artist. He did a graffiti-style workshop with those students, and at one end of the corridor, as part of the Platinum Jubilee funding that we got from the Arts Council, he has hand-painted a picture of Queen Elizabeth II, and it really is a sight to see. It's beautiful.
The South East Communities Rail Partnership, in collaboration with Southern Rail, invites individuals and groups to visit their local station.
The development officer and station manager will assist with the ticket buying process and boarding, helping to make the travel experience smoother. This initiative aims to boost confidence in navigating the station and travelling by train.
Southern Rail also have mobile assistance teams who can support passengers at unstaffed stations.
The old platform clock at Billingshurst ticket office dates back to around 1859, the year the line opened between Horsham and Petersfield.
The number indicates the amount of clocks made. This one is 207.
The ticket office staff are essential in assisting passengers and keeping the station running smoothly. Let's meet Darren, the ticket office clerk at Billingshurst, to discover more about what we can do along the Arun Valley Line.
Oh, because obviously Billingshurst, we're just outside the South Downs National Park. Once you get down to Pulborough, you're actually in it. So endless walks, like through the Downs and up the Arun River. Or if you go down a little bit further, obviously you've got the town of Arundel with a castle and such. Or if you're a bit of a beach baby, you just turn around and you go to Bognor or Littlehampton, or along the coast round to Brighton, or across to Portsmouth, Southampton. So yeah, that absolutely, it's a big walking area, big dog owning area as well. Old country pubs, restaurants, that sort of stuff, which most people find by walking, because most people will walk, as I've met anyway, usually turn around and find a pub at the end of the line or before they start, so good luck to them. Some people may or may not know, if not just this station, but other stations, when you go around, you'll see the hanging baskets, troughs on the platforms, etc. That's done by the Aldenbourne Trust. Now, this is a group of young adults who have learning disabilities to a degree. It's the winter months now, but generally you'd have two hanging baskets out the front, troughs all the way up the platform, and they come in and lots of banter for about half an hour, 3/4, and it's great to see. They love it. I mean, I get Christmas cards and all sorts of stuff off them, and yeah, long may it continue.
It's fantastic to hear about all the partnerships along the Arun Valley Line working together to enhance the stations and make a positive impact on the community.
Next, we're off to Pulborough to discover another inspiring initiative.
Pulborough Station, built in 1859, is also home to a signal box. It closed when colour light signalling was introduced in 2014, but instead of being removed, it's receiving a new lease of life.
Let's hear from Martin and some other members of the team involved in this exciting project.
This project today, and obviously a number of projects across Kent, Sussex and Wessex, it's an ex-offender programme. So what the idea is that Neterail, supported with Elite and Surset and a company called Brighter Homes, all got together and said, look, you know, we want to do this work, but a great idea is that we can support ex-prisoners into employment. So the background of my business is prisoners. So I would say 50-60% of my staff are prisoners or ex-prisoners, and I run a successful functioning railway company. And the idea is to try and give people opportunity to learn about different stuff, working trackside, working on buildings, working on scaffold. HMB Send in Guildford, we're trying to get a couple of women out down there to a job in East Farley next week, so it'd be good to get some women out of prison to help out with work. And some of them, everyone talks about nails and hair and that. No, some of them want to work on the railway, so we're pushing for that at the moment, yeah.
My name's Tyler McCallum. I'm the site supervisor overseeing the Pulborough Signal Box refurb project. Part of this project, what we're doing is refurbing what we can, and what we can't refurb, we'll get like for like process from the reclaim yards to make suit what we need to do to get it complete. Being involved in this project, I've seen it go from stage to stage, and the progress of each day is getting better and better as we go. I can't wait to see the final product.
My name's Dean Osman. I'm an ex-offender. Been working for Elite now for a couple of years. Yeah, while I was in a DCAT prison, I was coming out to work, and now I'm released. I'm carrying on the work and different jobs like this. Learn more new things every day, and yeah, just trying to keep progressing. When we first come here, we had to de-veg, so we cut all the bushes down behind us. We put scaffold towers up and done a bit of painting and sanding down, and yeah, so like I said, just try and learn new things every day. Whatever they ask us to help them with, we try and do as well. We've done another signal box before where someone actually bought it, so they took it apart and they took it away with them. So we had to try and keep that in as good condition as we could. But yeah, so all different. All the jobs are different. I said it's just keeping me busy, keeping me like it's another job's keeping me busy. It's giving me, like I said, I'm earning money and keeping me out of trouble.
I can't wait to see the restored signal box once the team has finished all their hard work.
Before we leave Pulborough Station, let's learn about Mick's role in the ticket office.
A lot of it is just meeting the regular travellers, keeping them happy and sort of trying to keep them moving if there are any problems. Lots of times people aren't sure how to get to their destinations, so I can look it up and print them off details of where to change, what platform to change onto, and the cheapest routes to take. Sometimes it's a lot cheaper if you don't travel via London, if you can find a route avoiding London, and yeah, so can advise them on the best routes, which you don't always get from a ticket machine. Mostly when people visiting Pulborough, it's to go to somewhere like the RSPB over at the Wildbrooks. They've got a big centre over there, and we get a lot of hikers, and there's lots of places to walk around Pulborough, lots of footpaths. It's great if you've got a dog. Lots of outside places here and wonderful views.
Thanks, Mick. I bet passengers are pleased to chat with you and grab a cuppa, be inspired by the gallery and pick up a new book to read.
There's also a brilliant slideshow in the waiting room sharing some of the history of Pulborough Station, including the last train to Midhurst and photos of the platforms and buildings over the decades.
The history of the station is incredibly important to the community, and an iconic scale model layout of the station was created by Scale 4 team members.
Pulborough Community Partnership is now able to share this with residents and visitors at open days and events in the area.
Our final stop is Amberley, where we're going to meet Kate from the South Downs National Park.
So you can travel by train. We really promote sustainable travel in the South Downs National Park, and locally you can travel to Amberley and also Pulborough by train to then access the South Downs National Park. And what a wonderful way to do that. And it takes the cars off of the roads and helps with reducing pollution and is much kinder to the environment. Travelling by train, I just find it much more relaxing than driving. The luxury of just being able to look out the window and just to see the landscape just go by, see the trees and the greens and the yellows, all the different colours that you find when you're travelling by train. And it's so relaxing, and you can do other things while you're just staring out the window, or just think and ponder on the delights of the natural world. Today we're at Amberley train station. So there are various walks from here. So you can walk along the river, you could walk up to Stoke, South Stoke, North Stoke, and you could also walk up into the Downs behind me, which has magnificent views across the countryside. Personally, I just find that it really helps with reducing my stress levels. It really helps with raising my mood, and just to be in nature where you can see the awe and wonder, especially, throughout the year there are different delights to be found when you're being out in nature, and colours, shapes, fractals, just so much that's there on offer. And also not to forget about the biodiversity and the huge range of biodiversity that's available, especially in the summertime when you've got the chalk grasslands, where if you were to put a metre square on the ground, you would have as much biodiversity in the chalk grasslands in the South Downs National Park as you would in the Amazon rainforest. Come sort of springtime, early summer, if you're lucky, you might be able to hear the nightingale or the nightjar. If you were to go to that site early in the morning, or just as it's getting dusk, you might be fortunate enough to hear those birds. We also have the white-tailed eagle that is just being reintroduced. There were some breeding pairs that were introduced into the Isle of Wight, and they've slowly made their way over, so they could also be spotted, as well as many other birds within these areas.
Wow, there's so much to connect us with nature. I could feel my blood pressure lowering as Kate told us all about what we can see and hear when out on the South Downs.
Well, let's take a meditative stroll into Amberley Museum to meet Katrina.
The museum showcases the region's rich industrial heritage through fascinating exhibits, including vintage vehicles, traditional crafts, and a working railway.
The great thing about Amberley Museum, of course, is it's right beside Amberley train station. So if you're visiting, it's very easy to hop on the train and hop off straight at the museum at Amberley Station. We actually run a 2-for-1 ticket offer all through the year, so that makes it a bargain entrance price as well for visitors to Amberley Museum. The museum itself is an open-air working museum, and it's a different experience every time you come because we have a mixture of volunteers who are working on the different areas that we've got across the museum and showing things as they really would have happened. So we've got vintage buses, we've got historic railways. We're actually on one of our little narrow gauge railway wagons at the moment, and you can ride on that narrow gauge railway when you come to visit. We've got exhibitions that cover different aspects of communications. We've got our telephone exhibition, the BT Connected Earth, which is a real kind of walk through the past in terms of how telephone history has developed, gives you a chance to get really hands-on with historic telephones. We've got our electricity hall with demonstrations of high voltage electricity, which is fantastic, really worth seeing that, quite spectacular. We have our TV and radio exhibition showing the whole history of TV and radio. Our printing workshop where our volunteers are printing on a day-to-day basis and sort of demonstrating some of the traditional techniques there. Our craft worker village, crafts ranging from wood turning, walking stick making, plumbing, so they're actually using lead craft work. Real mixture, and as I say, the site is very different every time you come, so there's always something new to see and experience. The site is in an old chalk quarry, and that means actually we've got an abundance of nature here on site, and we've got 2 nature walks that take you around the edge of the site, one that takes you up kind of alongside the railway and over the railway, which is fantastic. And then the other one takes you right to the top of the hill where you get some fantastic views right up and down the Arun Valley. So they're well worth doing as well. So here we're actually in our rail exhibition hall where you've got a real range of narrow gauge industrial locos and rolling stock on display. Quite eclectic mix, quite an interesting visit. And of course our narrow gauge railway runs every day. On some days we've got a steam engine running, so that's worth visiting for. Those are usually for our event days. During the year we've got things like our rail gala in the summer and our industrial trains day when you'll see the steam engines running alongside other ones as well. So real kind of treat, I think, for rail enthusiasts to visit on those days.
It's wonderful to step back in time and appreciate the skills and knowledge that have shaped the heritage crafts and industries over the years.
I don't know about you, but this place takes me right back to my childhood.
Perfect. A great opportunity for me to practice my train driver skills.
I'm not sure either of us would get through the training programme.
Let's not wreck the place. How about we explore those amazing walks Katrina mentioned?
Sounds great, and we'll enjoy the fresh air while we're at it.
You know, I'm really curious to head back to Pulborough and see how the Signal Box project turned out.
Absolutely, and it's just a quick 6-minute train ride from Amberley.
What a difference the fantastic team from Elite Project Services has made to this Signal Box.
And the perfect place for us to end our time today.
We hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into the incredible sights and experiences the Arun Valley Line has to offer.
And don't forget to catch our exciting series of free podcasts. You can relax and listen on the train,
or take a moment to listen ahead and plan your next adventure.
Safe travels. Enjoy your journey wherever the train takes you next.
Thank you for joining us.
The Arun Valley Line Beyond the Rails project is a Whistle Stop Arts production, commissioned by the South East Communities Rail Partnership and funded by the UK Government through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and Horsham District Council.
A huge thank you to everyone involved in this project.
We hope your travels on the Arun Valley Line are filled with fun and adventure as you discover all the charming places waiting for you.